This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have our guest, Eric Sénéchal, joining us, our certified Pulsor practitioner, the owner of Rejuvenate Hope with Pulsors LTD. And we're excited that he's back to talk more about helping you restore the balance back to your body. And we're excited that you're here again. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Good. Sad to hear this is our last podcast, but
I know you went so fast.
yeah, you've taught me so much, and I'm sure our listeners so much, and we're excited that you're back here today. And just for those that may be new to your work, tell us a little bit about your business and, of course, what Pulsors are all about.
Absolutely. So at its core, my work is about helping people restore balance mentally, emotionally, and physically, and also spiritually through this new technology named pulsars, which is rooted in quantum physics. So
Mm-hmm.
pulsars are a small energy balancing device developed by Dr. T.F. Yao, and they work to help clear the energy blockage in the body, the aura, and also the environment. So what makes this session unique is that I don't just use the pulsars as tools. I also use it as a gateway in many sessions, especially when the client is open to it. I notice a deeper level of energy that start to guide the process, what I would call angelic guidance. It's a soft but powerful presence that works alongside the pulsars, helping to reveal, release, and realign the client's energy in a way that feels divinely orchestrated.
Mm-hmm.
So while the pulsar technology is incredibly advanced and precise, they're also sometimes secret about the process. Often, clients report feeling a sense of peace or even a presence of loved one or spiritual guide. Sometimes I'll receive a unique impression of a message that feels like they're coming through the energetic field, and they often turn out to be deeply meaningful for a person I work with. So in short, what I offer is not just an energy balancing, it's a space where healing, awareness, and sometimes even spiritual connection can unfold.
Hmm. Now,
So the
in the previous podcasts, you have mentioned these five element pulsars, right? And said it's at the most powerful pulsars, but could you explain, why that is and what it is for the new people tuning in today?
Yes, of course. So those five elements is one of the most powerful and spiritual significant pulsar we have in the whole system. So when I say powerful, I don't just mean in terms of strength or
Mm-hmm.
intensity. I mean how deeply it can affect someone on all levels. It works on a superfine energy going straight to your nucleus of the cell or DNA level to make it more simpler. So the five element works with much deeper layer of polarity on a cellular level. It works to the superfine energy field of the emotional as well as the physical function of the body. So all around us is matter. And the mind is also made out of those five elements, which they're named the air, water, fire, earth, and ether. So those five elements carry the five basics, which is passion of lust, anger, greed, attachment, egotism, or pride. So each element has five attributes that I will not bore you with all the details because that's getting very, very detailed with that kind of stuff. But just to give you a little idea is that the human beings, we all have all five elements, and we're the only one that are actually active. So, like I just said, human being have the five active. The cows and the four-legged friends, they have four of the elements that are active. The birds have three of them. The bugs and the worm have two of them that are active, and the plants has only one, which is water, that are active. So
Mm.
when we eat or ingest anything, that food automatically splits into three parts. So
Okay.
the first part is ether. That one goes to our mind. The,
Okay.
the second part is air, fire, and water part. That goes to the nourishing and maintaining our emotional body. And then the third one is earth that gives the solid to our body. So in this manner, the food that we eat affect our mind, our emotion, and the physical body as well. So there is three different type of five elements. So there's the regular five elements, there's the super five element, and also the super infra five element. So the five element works on chronic, uh, excuse me, chronic physical due to emotional nature. The
Yeah.
super five element works on the nucleus, so the memory level of the cell, astro
Okay.
emotional, emotional trauma, chronicle emotional unstable, and long-term emotional unbalance. That one is a very powerful one. And the super infra five element, that's the finer frequency that we have, which is high spiritual. And that's the one we use quite often that we have angelic events that happens during a pulsar session is with that five element there.
Now, also, let me ask you about your personal story, if you don't mind sharing that with us, or a personal experience you've had encounter with an angel.
Yes, of course. So, but first, like I said in some previous podcasts, I want to mention that I'm not a medium because I want to make sure people don't come here just for that. So I work with the angels, but it's always on their terms. So I cannot force anything. These experiences happen only when the person is ready to receive the information. So now, the first time it ever happened to me with the angel, like with the angels, was when I was a very young man. I wasn't in business yet, but I was already working with the Pulsors at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So one morning, I got up and went upstairs for breakfast. To my surprise, my father was at the table. That was very strange because normally at 6 a.m., he's already at the motel running the business. I asked him, "What are you still doing here?" And he said to me that his back was torturing him. He was having a lot of strong back pain, and he wanted me to give him a pulse session. So now you have to understand, my father never asked for a session. He always keeps those ones for my mother. But that day, he was really in pain. When he stood up from the chair, it took him about 5 to 10 seconds just to straighten up. I
Mm-hmm.
could see in his eyes he was struggling. So after I finished eating, I told him I'll do a session focusing on the lower back. So I worked with the several pulsers to help relieve that tension. When I asked him how he felt after, he told me that the pain was 50% of it was gone. So I told him it would continue as the day progressed, that it's going to get better. Then I asked, "Would you like me to send you some more energy directly to your lower back?"
Oh my
And he
gosh.
said, "I'll take whatever you
Mm-hmm.
want, everything I can give him."
Mm.
So I'll go back for a second. So a few years earlier, I had taken Reiki training, which I'm sure a lot of you, your viewers knows what that is. So at the time, I had just started to learn some new work with angels throughout another training course that I was taking. So I told him to relax while I sent some energy. So I began to do the Reiki as I've been taught. So basically, energy through your crown chakra, going down through your hand and giving the energy to his lower back. As I was meditating, suddenly I felt like someone was watching me. I kept my eyes closed, but I looked through my third eye and I saw three angels in the corner of the room. They weren't doing anything. They were just standing there watching me. So I said to them, "If you're here, don't just stand there. Help me heal my dad." Then the angel closest to me shook her head and signed me no. I asked why. She replied that my dad needed to stay home today to rest and not to go to work as usual. So I told my dad, "There are angels in here in the room." Then said to me, "Well, tell them to come and heal me." So I said, "I did, but they said you need to stay home today." So he agreed and said, "Okay, I will." So I went back into my meditation, and again, I saw the angels one more time. So I passed along this information to them, and I asked again to the angel, and he shook his head again, no, once more. She said, "He's still planning to go to the motel today." So I asked him, "Are you still planning to go to the motel today?" He replies, "Yes, it's a payday. I need to go to do the payroll for the employees." So I said, "You just told the angels you were staying home. Are you lying to the angels?" He looks at me and said, "You're right. I shouldn't do that. But I still need to pay the employees." So I suggest that he ask someone to bring the paperwork and the checks to the house so he
Mm-hmm.
could from home. And he agreed that it was a good idea. Then I returned to my meditation state. Then the angels were still there, patiently waiting. And then the one closest to me stepped forward and said, okay, now I will get behind you and place my hand over yours. It will be intense, but I will give you just a glimpse of our energy to help your father. I told her I was ready. She replied, no, you're not. I said, okay, I'll do my best to hold on as long as I can. She said, okay. The moment she placed her hand over mine, it was so intense. It felt like placing my hand directly on a hot stove. It burned so much. I could only hold it for about 5 seconds. I finally said, that's enough, almost yelling it desperately there. At the same time, my father jumped from the heat that was rushing through him. He
Mm-hmm.
looked at me and said, what just happened? I couldn't even speak. I was sweating, completely overwhelmed. I ran to the kitchen and drank a big glass of water. My mother looked at me and said, your face is completely red and you're all sweaty. Then my father came out of the bedroom without his shirt on, and my mother looked at him and asked, what is that on your back? He said, what do you mean? She said, you have two handprints on your lower back. I walked from the kitchen to the living room where they were standing, and yes, there it was, two handprints, clear as day. My father looked at me and said, but you didn't even touch me. I felt the heat, but you didn't lay a hand on me.
Mm-hmm.
I replied, I know, those are angel handprints. And
Mm-hmm.
just like that, his back pain was completely gone. And yes, he stayed at home rest the entire day. The employee brought him the checks and paperwork, and he was able to do the payroll from home. That was the first intense moment I had working with the angels. Since then, I've continued working with them. Sometimes the experience is just as intense as that first time, other time it's much gentler. But the feeling is always the same, their hand guiding mine.
Oh my goodness. Beautiful. I love hearing these stories. Incredible. Now, I imagine that after all these years of working with angels, that there must have been moments that really felt unknown or maybe even a bit scary. Have you ever had an experience like that?
Yeah, absolutely, I did. In fact, something just happened last week. So we're not
What?
going far. That was both intense and a little unsettling, but at the end, it was incredibly beautiful. So I had a regular client who came in and told me she wasn't feeling like herself. She said she was having thoughts that didn't belong to her, thoughts that were negative, intrusive, and out of character. She's some she's someone that who takes care of herself mentally, emotionally. She practiced self-awareness and kept a very positive mindset. So she knew something was off. I told her she wasn't the first person to come to see me with this kind of situation. We're living in a time where a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed, unbalanced, and energetically drained. And for someone who's highly sensitive, like she is, that energy can be really hard to manage. So we began the pulsar session, and about 15 minutes in, I started to work on her throat chakra. And right away, I could feel there was a big blockage there. I was working hard, like something that was stuck and didn't want to move. I told her what I was sensing, and when I was done, I continued on the other chakras and other vortex of her on her. So around 30 minutes mark, I suddenly felt the presence of an angel entering the room. The angel just stood there watching us. A few gentle messages came through for the client, some comforting guidance to help her navigate this phase of her life. But then she started to cough. She said, my throat feels itchy. I offered her some water, but she said she was okay. So I went back to her throat chakra and started using different pulses there, helping to remove that energy blockage there. And at that moment, the angel began to step closer to her. Then, and that doesn't happen often, the angel gently placed her hand around the client's neck and began to pull. So the client started coughing again and asked, what is going on? So the angel told me, keep going. Don't stop spinning the pulsar. So I turned to the client and said, something big is being released. Just breathe through it. Your body is responding to this release of energy. So then I saw it, a dark cloud shaped like a human figure beginning to lift from the throat chakra. It was being pulled out, slowly and completely from the angel. The angel was very focused and working with great care. The client suddenly said, "It feels like something is scratching my throat." I told the angel, "Take it out and take it out in my clinic." The angel nodded and did exactly that. She looked at me and said, "It's done. She will be fine now." About 10 seconds later, the pulsar stopped spinning on the throat. Just silence.
Wow.
The client looked at me, started swallowing, and said, "Whoa, I don't know what that was, but that feels so much better now." Then the angel said to me, "Now you can explain what just happened. She needs to stay calm during the process, but now she's ready." So I could tell her. So I explained that the entity had been in her and that the angel had just removed it. I reassured her that she was safe and that this energy was no longer a part of her. We finished the session like usual. I walked her through what has happened, where it likely came from, and what she might feel in the next few days. So when we were done, she looked at me and said, "I feel so light, so calm. The voice I kept hearing in my head is gone. It's just peaceful now." The next day, she texted me. She said, she felt amazing, alive, clear, and deeply happy. Her mind was still, and she was full of gratitude. These kind of events have happened many times over the years. Some were more unsettling than others, especially when the entity was inside of the client's body. Sometimes it's the pulsar energy that clears it out, and other time it works with the angels. So I've noticed that with new clients especially, there's often energy lingering around the aura. Thankfully, those are usually easily to remove using the pulsars, and it
Hmm.
happened quite often during a session. It was a powerful reminder that sometimes healing needs to be given, sorry, healing will need is bigger than what we can see. And when the timing is right, the angels always show up, especially when we needed them the most.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Now hold on. Um, this is wow. Um, Amazing. But in the podcast, I think it was last week, you mentioned that there's power available to all of us, something most people don't even realize they have access to. Can you tell us more about what this is?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, people need to hear more of this this information that is available for everybody. So we all have access to tools and power that is sadly most people don't even know that exists. So these aren't things we're taught at school or in religion. Don't really speak about them either. So, but the truth is, many people uses these techniques in the world. They know about them. They use them all the time. The information is just not shared with the general public. It's kept in the quiet. So one of the greatest power we have access to, and is available to everyone, is the support of the angelic realm. So the angels are always there. They're around us constantly. But there's something most people don't realize. Because we have free will, angel cannot interfere in our life unless we ask. They are beings of light who deeply respect our choices. They will let us they will let us go through our challenges alone if we so choose, or we can use their guidance to go through it as fast as possible. So unless you invite them in, they simply observe. But the moment you ask, whether it's for guidance, healing, protecting, or clarity, they are there. They show up. And you don't have to know the name or every specific angel or how to do everything perfectly. What matters the most is your intention, your heart. That's what connects you to them. And yes, they will always answer. Maybe not in the exact timing you want, but always in the timing that is right for you. Your personal growth, your evolution, your healing, that's secret. And they know what you need even before you realize it, and it will be put into your path. In this universe, there is no greater power than the one that created it all. And what we call God. Some people may use that different name for this vibration, but for most, we simply call him God. The angels were created from that same divine source, sent to help, to protect, and guide us in many ways. This energy comes directly from the source, pure, powerful, and often untapped. I always say the invincible is stronger than the visible. So if there's one thing I would encourage you to remember is this: you are never alone. The help is always there. Use it, trust it, be grateful of it, and watch how your path begin to shift in the most beautiful way.
Well, thank you. I want to see how I'm shifting. Now, for anybody, before we get to, how we contact you and all, just since this is our last show,
Yes.
do you want to share, another story or two? Go ahead. Like, tell us a little bit more because it's so impactful, the work that you're doing and the people that you're helping. Please.
Yeah, of course, no problem. So since we're talking about in this more spiritual side, we'll keep that in the same flow with this. There's one of my customer that she's a nurse, and she had a little dog that she absolutely loved, and that dog was actually sick. So during one of the Pulsar sessions, she came to see me, explaining to me that she was having a hard time, and that she didn't tell me more than that, but she was very emotional and all that. So I said, of course, well, definitely, because all we know is the Pulsar are very good to help emotionally. So that's what we did for her, one of the Pulsar sessions for to work on the emotion. And while the process was going, um, while she was laying on the table, I saw a little dog come into the room, and spiritly, not a real dog.
Mm-hmm.
And the dog was super happy. The tail was wiggling, and it was very excited. And I asked her, I'm like, there's a little dog that it's in here. I know she has a dog, but I didn't know the story. Then she started crying in front of me, and she was telling me that 2 days prior to the session that she had to put her dog down because it was so sick, and there was no way. They were having some big problems. So to ease the suffering, they had to release that dog. So, and she was telling me that she was feeling very guilty about it because in her mind, especially as a nurse, because nurses are caregivers, she felt like she assassinated her dog, that she deprived that dog of living, even though it was suffering so much. So she had a big internal guilt inside of her. And when the dog came to see me so happy, I was like, oh, well, that's your dog coming in, and she's wiggling her tail. So she's very, I'm saying she's, sorry, it's a male. The dog was very happy to that he was there, that he was being released, and he wanted her to know, in which I transferred that information to her after, that not to feel guilty, but she was able to free him from all that pain that he had, and that now that he was happy, he was in heaven and all that, and everything was going well. So the dog wanted to make sure that her conscience could be free, and that she did the right thing for the dog to be able to free him. And as the session was progressing, I started to become emotional because I used to have a husky when I was a kid, when my mom was very ill. So if you want that story, that was in one of the first podcasts. So the dog was a big confidant for everybody in the family. And my dog, which was named Picasso, a Siberian Husky, came to join us. Both dogs were together, playing together around us as I was doing the pulse session. So it was kind of funny and very beautiful to see the happiness of both dogs. And it really showed her because she knew how that dog meant to me and how close I was to it. So it was very a beautiful experience to see that perspective on the spirit guide, to explain and to show her that she did the right move for her dog, and that it was very happy over there. So as almost at the end of the session, I could see the dogs just playing in a big field, getting away and away, further and further away from us. And yeah, so that way she was able to free her mind from it, and it was a big weight that was lifted from her shoulder, knowing that she did the right move for a little puppy that she loves so much.
Oh my goodness. I love it. Thank you so much. Such a
You're
great
welcome.
story. And Eric, so for anybody that, would like to reach out to you, feels a calling to what you're doing, how can they reach you?
All right, so the best way to contact me is by phone. So you can call me at 506-856-5861, or you can connect with me by email also. So you can use my business name, Rejuvenate Hope Pulsor, and the word Pulsor is spelled Pulsor @gmail.com. And you can find me also at Rejuvenate Hope with Pulsar on YouTube. I have many videos that I've done showing some live pulsar session if you're curious to see how all that works, and explaining different pulsars, different experience that we had, angelic side. And sometimes I've done a few videos also explaining what's coming on, what is going on energetically on the earth. And some people feel stuff going on. They don't understand why this is heavy. And a lot of times just because of the energy that's on earth and what is happening. So I get some message out there for people to understand that. You can also reach me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. TikTok, I have a lot of quotes of the day that I release for people. They love that. If
Yeah.
you're ready to book a session, have question, feel free to email me. And I offer in-person session, obviously here in Riverview, New Brunswick in Canada. But I will say I do most of my session are long distance that I do in the US. I'll say 80% of my customers come from the US, so it's all long distance that I do with them. So I can definitely do that for you if you're not living close to me. And wherever you are in the world, I'm here to help when you feel ready for it.
Oh
And
my goodness.
I want to end this podcast with a small quote here to give you guys. So remember, you are more powerful than you know and more supported than you can imagine. All you have to do is ask.
Got it. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Eric, been a pleasure knowing you. I'll say till next time, right? Because we won't say goodbye. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. You
Thank
have
you
a
so much for
fantastic day. Thank you so much.
you as well.
Enjoy the summer and we'll stay connected. Good luck to you. Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.